Introduce our next speaker, Ricardo Buranello, VP of Factory Solutions at Tellit, who's going to be speaking to us today about connecting the factory to the value chain. Ricardo, good afternoon, or good evening, or good morning. Are you with us, Ricardo?
Hello. Very good morning for everyone. Great to be here, and it's going to be a pleasure to share a little bit of our experience and in terms of how we see the industrial IoT market with this great audience that we have today. So let me talk a little bit about industrial IoT. Okay, great. So first of all, a very brief introduction about who Tellit is and what we do. Basically, Tellit is a global company traded in London Stock Exchange, and the only thing that we do for basically 2 decades now is IoT. It's really impressive, the number of new devices that we put in the concept of IoT every single day. Basically, we connect one new device almost every second, and this gives us a very deep understanding in terms of the different use cases for IoT, being them, highly distributed connected devices such as cars or smart meters, to embedded devices running on the shop floor of industrial companies. Tellit, as I said, we are global. We have 3 main business units, one that we call the IoT modules, the one that we call the connectivity plans, and the other one for software. On the modules, think Tellit like the Intel of Internet of Things. We produce modules, semiconductors, chips, that goes inside boxes for any sort of radio connectivity, mainly cellular. So every time that you need a cellular connectivity, that you have a module on your base, on your board, you need a SIM card, and we are also a global MVNO, so we have our global SIM cards for IoT. And we have all our platforms, so you can create your own applications for IoT. And this is the division that I'm responsible for, and that I will share a little bit more of our experience. All this technology that I will be talking about, we started many years ago inside IBM. So in 2013, Tellit acquired a spin-off of IBM Automation Group, a company called ILS Technology, and then we bring to our product portfolio one product called Devicewise and one product called SecureWise, that they are software platforms for you to develop industrial IoT applications. And it's really great to see how we are growing in this technology. Just a very quick example here in terms of in the automotive space. Today, 7 out of the 10 biggest car makers in the world, they use Devicewise as a standard IoT platform for data collection and decision-making on the shop floor. Not even talking about the connected cars, but on the sites, on the plants that are producing these cars. And why IoT will be so transformative? I think that the main reason for this is what we can do with IoT. It is not the technology by the technology, but it is how the technology really can make things more efficient. I really like this statement from Paul Krugman, a Nobel Prize winner, and he says, productivity isn't everything, but in the long run, it is almost everything. Here in Tellit, we like to say that IoT exists only for 3 reasons. For you to sell more by creating different ways of going to the market, by creating new types of service. Servitization is something important. How you can provide new features for your customers. For you to save money by making things better, having your production more efficiently, and for you to stay out of jail. For you to have, for you to be compliant with your sector regulations. And when we go for some market research, regarding the impact of IoT, it is really interesting to see the relevance of industrial applications in IoT. I am a deep believer on IoT in every single sector, in every single type of application. I personally believe that in a very close future, there will not be one single car in the world that will not be connected at all. I don't believe that in a very close future, there will be one single smart meter that will not be connected with IoT technology. I really believe this is a trend. But if I believe that every single car in the world will be connected with IoT technology, it is impossible for me even to imagine that all the PLCs, all the robots, all the CNCs, all the torque tools that are important machines in the production line of big industrial corporations, they will not be connected. At the end of the day, not only it's important to realize how expensive these equipments are, but it's even much, much more expensive how much value they create in this line. And if you can improve productivity in 1%, in 2%, in big industrial companies, this means a tremendous ROI. And this is why IIoT is leading completely the investment in the IoT world. And still in the same study from McKinsey, they say that through the implementation of IoT technologies, industrial companies, they can save from 5 to 40%. They can have cost savings in their production line just by having operations optimizations, predictive maintenance, and other benefits that IoT can bring. So I do believe this is a huge trend, and the market is perceiving this, and we can see how fast this market is growing, especially on the industrial applications of IoT. But you know, when we talk about IoT, IoT can also be very generic. So what is IoT? So I decided to show you here in one image what is a non-IoT factory. So for you guys that are familiar with production lines, you can see that this is a normal factory, right? I can see there are a couple of machines, maybe one robot over there, one crane that moves parts. Certainly this is not an IoT factory. This is just a normal factory. Let me show you now a picture of a real IoT factory. This is a real IoT factory. As you can see, we're talking about the same plant, exactly the same machines. But the difference, what makes it so unique, is that now you have all the same industrial components, all the same machines, all the same people, that they are connected to each other. That we can interface all these equipment on a completely bidirectional way, linking IT and OT in a fully transparent way. But how can you do that? Do you need to change every single machine that you have on the shop floor? If the answer is yes, this project will simply never fly. Companies, they will not change the complete installed base of devices to be IoT ready. But there is a huge market potential for you really to grow the connectivity of things by collecting the data, better understanding the reality of your shop floor, and implementing things that will make your production more productive. By having this integration of things, machine to machine, machine to systems, and machine and systems to people, there are basically two ways for you to do that. You can go for a platform adoption, and basically this is what we have in our product portfolio in a product called Devicewise, or you can invest dozens of thousands of hours on developing custom code solutions for this. Still, many companies, they have custom solutions for machine connectivity and IoT integration like this. And I can tell you that this is definitely a very inefficient way for you to deploy any sort of IoT project by creating everything from scratch, by taking completely different components and Lego blocks and trying to build your own Frankenstein. I remember more than 20 years ago, when I started my career in technology, I was working for a big ERP company, and the biggest competitor that we had 20 years ago was not the other big SAP or the big ERP company. It was the homegrown systems that companies were still developing in-house. Of course, it is not efficient if every single company develops the same sort of technology only for their internal use. They never have a scale to really grow. So they keep reinventing the wheel all the time. And still I see a lot of this happening in IoT, but soon enough, we will start seeing an even faster change on having a faster adoption of the standard platforms such as Devicewise in this machine connectivity. The idea of the implementation of IoT is creating a very flexible scenario where the machines, they are not only machines, they become data points and they start interfacing with talking to each other. But in the next few minutes, I will talk a little bit about what are the challenges of that, given the fact that every single provider has its own protocol, has its own language, and these are machines that are in use and will be in use for the next 20 years, but they never were predicted to be interconnectable like that. But let me follow here and talk a little bit about use cases in terms of how we help some customers on getting where they are in terms of IoT. Basically, the way that we see the world is by having a complete integration of all the things, and I like to divide IoT in two types of business cases. The one that I call a connected factory, that I have typically all my machines inside the four walls on one single place with very complex and heterogeneous types of devices on the shop floor from different providers and different types of IT systems running there and making sure that I have all my business processes in place. And I have what I call connected machines. Being a connected machine could be, I don't know, a laser cutting machine, a car wash, even a connected car or a connected dog tracker, whatever. It is something that is remotely connected. And by the characteristics of having all these devices geographically distributed, there is a strong need for you to have cloud technologies, device management, and the aggregation of all these things that they can be one in every different continent that we have in planet Earth. So by having this framework, Tellit developed, and actually IBM started this development, and then Tellit acquired ILS technology, and we kept evolving this development, all the different types of components that you need to develop your own applications. With Devicewise, we have the ability of collecting all the data from all the different devices without writing one single line of code. Create a quick dashboard for you to have a data visualization, and then push this data into the all different components such as SAP, Oracle databases, IBM systems, cloud solutions such as Azure or AWS, and much more. As well as we have the Tellit IoT portal that allow us to collect not only the data of the devices that are inside the four walls, but also have remote connectivity to data of things that could be completely distributed all around the world. Having also the possibility of opening tunnels and having remote access to these devices as if you were in front of the device with all the necessary security layer in between the devices, and the ability of integrating all different types of machines to mobile platforms, so I can use my cell phone to have visibility of what is happening in my factory or in my machine that might be in South America, for example. Going through here, our use cases, I would like to talk a little bit about this specific use case. And that was one project that we did in China a few months ago in the largest electronic producer in the world. This is a massive company. This company is producing ink cartridges for the biggest ink cartridge brand out there. I bet that all your printers, they have this type of ink cartridge produced there in Shenzhen, where was this factory. And I had the pleasure of going to this factory. This is a massive factory. This is the highest volume of ink cartridges produced in the world. And you have no idea how many thousands of cartridges are produced every hour. By having this massive volume, you need to have extremely fast machines producing on a super high frequency so you can really handle all the demand for that. What is the challenge that we have in this project? The machines were moving so fast that the data collection frequency was so high that any product that this company tried to buy could really handle the frequency of data collection in the controllers, in the PLCs that they have in the line. So we went there, and basically in 3 weeks, from the concept of the product to the deployment, we could collect this data in real time. Devicewise is a platform built to be a real-time data collection, data aggregation, data transformation, and data connectivity. So we collected all this data in real time. We created, using our dashboard builders, a digital twin of the factory, as you can see here in this cool pictures. So now the managers, they could create this control room, and they could see in real time exactly what was happening in every single machine of its factory. It is a responsive platform, so they can look at their cell phones as well as in tablets while they are fixing problems in the line. And all this done in less than 3 weeks with not a single line of custom code. So that's a very interesting project, how we could help this company of taking better decisions in terms of how they need to manage their production by the usage of an industrial IoT platform. The second use case that I would like to share with you is about a very large automation OEM. This company is producing, it's a Japanese company, very well-known brand, and they produce lasers. They produce many things, but one of these things are laser cutting machines. So the challenge that they brought us was, you know, the laser cutting machine, the OEM market, is a very competitive market. They have to have a very aligned strategy in terms of increasing services, how IoT could help them to increase services. So basically, the concept of this product was, I want to have all my laser cutting machines connected. By having them connected, my engineer that maybe is in Japan now, he can have access to a laser cutting machine that maybe is in Germany now, and without jumping into an airplane, he can know exactly what is going on with this laser cutting machine, providing preventive maintenance and support from where the customer is. As well as Devicewise is providing to the end customers additional benefits. So now this laser cutting machine can be connected without coding to SAP. So now the customer can know in his enterprise system what is the productivity of this device, as well as pushing into databases and having the control of their plants in their hands using a mobile application. So this is the beauty of Devicewise, and this is the beauty of IoT when you have a strong IoT platform that doesn't require you to create customized solutions. You can simply take all the features existing in the platform, adapting it to your use case, from a connected factory to a connected machine, from a complete on-premises application to a remote access application without the need of getting of investing hundreds of thousands of many years for you to be there. So you can change your application on the same speed that the market is changing, that you are changing your business strategy. So how can I get my project ready next week? If you think that you have good ideas, or that you can have a better production line, or that you can have a better service or product idea to the market by implementing IoT, my first suggestion is don't start coding. Go and look for what are the best IoT platforms in the market and start from there. Start from understanding how the technology that is already scalable and proven can help you. And I deeply believe that Devicewise is the top, the state-of-the-art technology that we have there. ABI Research recognized Devicewise as one of the best smart manufacturing platforms out there. And the reason for this is all this concept has years of development. When you go for an industrial application, it becomes very complex for you to do all your data collection, where you need to have different types of machines connectivity using different types of protocols. When you go for your IT system, life is not simple. You also have dozens of different softwares running in parallel with the necessity of intercommunicating them. With Devicewise, I can create a transparent bridge doing this connectivity on a completely bidirectional way. Devicewise can push the data from the lowest level in your architecture, collecting data from external instrumentation, sensors, and actuators, pushing this to all different types of controllers, and interconnecting this to all your existing IT systems. So it doesn't matter what are the machines you have, doesn't matter what are the software or the systems and softwares that you have, we can intercommunicate them all, and we can make the magic happen, as I showed you in that 2 use cases. Devicewise is a software. We have 3 main pillars in this software. We have what we call device access layer. So when you buy Devicewise, you have hundreds of drivers for you to simply say, what is the IP address of my machine, what is the driver I'm using, and like magic, I have an auto-enumeration of all my tag trees in a PLC, or I have the connection to a controller, or I can collect data from sensors, and now I can start treating and transforming this data. The data transformation is just a matter of setup. It is not required coding there by using our edge logic layer, so you can simply drag and drop blocks of logics doing this integration. And we have all the IT connectors, so not only I can collect data from machines, but I can also go to a database, do a query, understand what needs to be done, and then write in my machine. I can, for example, read data from an MES and then change the recipe in my controller. All this because we have all these components and all these drivers and IT connectors available for you to deploy your magic, for you to deploy your project without the necessity of reinventing the wheel. On top of all the data transformation that we also have a very modern drag and drop data visualization embedded in Devicewise, so you can create dashboards. Not only you can create dashboards, but you can create bidirectional screens. So now, for example, if I put a tablet in my line in front of my computer, I can show to my operator how efficiently the line is running, but I also can add buttons or text box so my operator can add additional data into my IoT layer. So Devicewise knows if the machine is down, that I have a downtime, but also I can let one operator to push a button and say why this machine is down in case the reason for this downtime is not native to the protocol. For example, if my line is restarting or if my operator needs a bio break. So with this, I can combine data natively from the machines, from my IT systems, as well as from outside input data done by the operators. Long story short, how can we really deploy things that make sense? Think in terms of a platform. Think how you can create applications on top of a platform and how this can speed up your innovation. When you have a platform like Devicewise, Devicewise goes installed in any sort of server through the Ethernet I can collect the data from all the controllers, machines that I have on the shop floor on my southbound here, and I can interconnect all these with my IT components. So what can I do with it? I can make machines to talk to machines. I can make a Rockwell controller to talk to a Siemens controller, to talk to a Mitsubishi controller, robots, etc. I can, without writing one single line of code, implement a preventive or predictive maintenance by simply create a very quick trigger and say, for example, count how many cycles did this machine went through. After X amount of cycles, open one ticket for maintenance, or measure the vibration temperature and current consumption so I can predict what is going wrong. I can implement quality control systems. I can do OOE and other types of KPIs in my line or in my machines, doesn't matter if they are on-premises or remote. I can have all my IT and OT connectivity, as well as I can have all my artificial intelligence platforms connected. I can push data from machines into Azure and AWS with zero effort in just a matter of minutes. Well, guys, it is a very quick presentation here. Unfortunately, I don't have much time to go much deeper on that, but I will be very happy if you guys have any questions or would like to see more details of the use cases that I showed or some other types of use cases. Myself and my team, we are available to talk to you, so please send us the questions, and it will be a pleasure to have other interactions with you. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you so much.